College Center for Young Parents. So I've been a youth worker for 10 years and I'm a housing counselor at Jesse's Center, where we work with young mothers and their families and their children. Most of the women I work with are ages 14 to 21, and my goal, my job, is to help them to secure safe and affordable housing for themselves and their children. Accessing the HSF is an essential step in the process of supporting our participants to find housing. Almost everyone we support to move is eligible for and in great need of the Housing Stabilization Fund, so it's a huge part of our process. Most of the women that we work with are leaving their family home and moving into their first independent home, so we're clearly starting with nothing. Others are fleeing domestic violence, whether that be from their parents or guardians, from their partners, their children's fathers, or other people in their lives. And again, like other people have said, when you're fleeing domestic violence, you're often starting again with nothing. If you move to a shelter or any kind of transitional housing, you can't keep anything that you have. So almost everyone that we work with has absolutely no furniture. And as youth, they can only start accessing Ontario Works when they move out of their parents' homes. So they've had no income up until this point. They have no money, they have nothing to their name, and they're moving with their children. Young women face some of the highest rates of violence of any groups in society, and the HSF is one of the ways that they can flee this violence that they live with on a daily basis. It's the only money available for situations like this, and it's helped them to find safety for them and their children. If young mothers cannot access money for last month's rent or for furniture to build their new homes, many of them will have to keep living in abusive homes or move to shelters, or they'll end up on the streets. Young mothers are already scrutinized by society, and they're constantly assumed that they are not good enough parents. They deal with much higher rates of CAS involvement, of Children's Aid Society, in their families, and if they cannot move to safe homes, if they cannot escape the abuse that they experience, or if they don't receive money for things like beds, linens, dressers, dishes, etc., then they are seen as failing as parents, and they are at high risk of CAS from removing children from their care. The HSF fund helps them to create a safe and stable home so that they can keep their children with them. In 2013, the city released a housing and homelessness plan which affirms your commitment to preventing homelessness as the first strategic direction. You say providing services to help people keep their housing or to find housing better suited to their needs is one of the best ways to reduce homelessness. Preventing homelessness requires not only collaboration with a wide range of service providers, but also effective, timely, and appropriate service interventions tailored to the individual needs of clients. I feel like that one paragraph says so much of what people have said tonight, and that's come from the city already. You've already established this. Cutting the HSF is in direct contradiction to this plan. One of the women I work with wanted to be here tonight, but her son is very, very sick, so she couldn't, but she asked me to share her story. So she is 19 years old, and she was moving from an apartment into a new apartment because where she lived, she had experienced huge amounts of physical violence and verbal violence from her son's father, and she wanted to find a